Good morning. How are we all doing? Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. Apologies if this is a little bit of a rough day because I've had a week off and I've forgotten how life works and baby's not here to hold my hand. So there we go. Anyway, how are you doing? Hey, if you're in the chat, please do let me know that you're there. Please do. If you don't know what this is, who I am, then let me bring you in. Let me bring you up to speed. I got this, okay? My name is Graham. Hey, how are you doing? We wrong side, this side. Where's the bib? We is a phrase that I usually use because there's usually more than me on the show. There's me and Bib, but like ships in the night, I tag in as he tags out. So Bibby did a bunch of solo scoops, aka dollops, last week, and it's my turn for a dollop. What is a dollop? What is a scoop? Well, I'm going to tell you. We are Ice Cream Uploads, me, Bib, and the rest of the team collectively, and we provide the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. That podcast is The Scoop. Obviously, it's Ice Cream Scoop, news scoop, bring you the scoop. Okay, you get it. You get it. You got it. You knew all along. It's fine. Okay, you've been here before. Anyway, we are Ice Cream Uploads. This is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. And I, on my own, I'm going to give you my thoughts and impressions on the biggest, the best, and breaking stories, and I've got something in my eye, over the next hour or so. If you're in the chat, please do feel free to get involved. This is recorded live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, and then turned into a podcast. A video that goes on YouTube, and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. If you are watching and listening on demand, hey, how are you doing? I love you. Yeah. And if you're not, if you're in the chat, then hey, because you guys get to get involved. If you are in the chat, you have a special job. It's important that you guys get involved because you get to ask the questions and respond on behalf of everyone else that is watching and listening on demand. And you also get to fill the shoes that have been left vacant, empty, not filled by Bib. Yeah, because Bib is off for the rest of the week, so I need you guys to fill in. Give me some back and forth. Give me some communique. We are going to run through a bunch of stories today, including this one. That shouldn't be on the screen, but it's there, so I'll leave it there now. PlayerUnknown himself leaves PUBG. Mr. PUBG leaves PUBG, so that just leaves Bug. We have no poo, just the bug. But yes, Mr. PlayerUnknown has left PUBG, apparently. I haven't actually read through this story. I started to read through it, and I will go through the rest of that. As well as that story, we have a bunch of other stories today. Depending on how quickly we get through them, we have 6 stories. We usually only have about 3 or 4, maybe 5, but we have 6 today. And I could have had more as well. I just had to be selective with what I was choosing. Busy news day. So the stories that we have, obviously we're leading with the PlayerUnknown story first. Elsewhere, EA shares new Dead Space remake footage. Elsewhere, Xbox's Tomb Raider timed exclusivity deal. If you remember the first Tomb Raider game that came out from Crystal Dynamics, Square Enix, it came out on Xbox first, a full year before it came to PlayStation. We have some details on that. Apparently, it was reportedly worth $100 million, that deal. Elsewhere, I'm going to keep saying elsewhere because we have 6 stories. Filming has wrapped on The Last of Us pilot. That's the HBO TV series. Elsewhere, Call of Duty taunts pissed off cheaters in a new video promoting action. Call of Duty has had a problem with cheaters for ages. They're now making it known that they're taking on the cheaters by pissing off the cheaters. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them. And elsewhere, Fortnite now has Will Smith. That's the end story of the day. We may have to drop that depending on how we get on through the rest of the stories and how we get on through our conversations. But how are we doing? Hey. Who is in the chat? Plum Rico says, good morning, fellas. Good morning, Mr. Rico. First name Plum. How you doing? Hey. Tito. Alrit. Gargard says, good morning. How's things? Are you good? Yeehaw says, morning, G-Dog. Alrit. It's still the morning. It is still the morning. See, I'm actually a little bit earlier than when Bibby's here. So it's basically Bibby's the problem-ish. No, because I think Bibby was actually earlier than I usually. Bibby was kind of on time last week, I think, from what we were doing. So basically, Bibby slows me down and I slow him down. You get us on our own, we're quicker. It's just one of those things. How are we all doing? Have you all had a good weekend? Have you all had a good start to the week? Did you all have a good bank holiday Monday? And for me, it was a bank holiday Tuesday as well. How are you all doing? Slaps, thank you very much for the follow, dude. How are you doing? Luna Fast Food as well. How's things, Slaps? We should we should jump in for those games at some point. Although I don't actually know. I'm probably not going to have time for games today on stream, just to let everyone know. So there probably will only be the scoop on stream today. I don't think we will have an afternoon stream. I have a lot to catch up on after my week off. But I will be playing games on stream tomorrow if anyone is around. Luna Fast Food, appreciate the follow. With a name like Fast Food, we're going to get on pretty well. I did have an exceptional week last week when it came to food. I don't know if anyone saw. I basically ate my weight in food, which is kind of what I do anyway. Actually, do you know what I've not done though? I've not retweeted our Go Live tweets. Honestly, Graham, like, retweet, cancel, delete. Retweet. There we go. I don't want to quote tweet it. Nice. If anyone is on Twitter and doesn't follow us already and can spare one measly retweet, then I would appreciate it if you guys could just go hit retweet on that. Let people know that we are live now, and let people know that PlayerUnknown has left PUBG, which we will go through in just a second or two. But yes, last week I was off. So last week involved more Slim Chickens. Oh, yeah. Also, these were exceptional. There is a place in Manchester called Bada Bing, which does Sopranos-esque sandwiches, and they were world class. Also featured Dunkin' Donuts because yeah, sorry, why not? And Dirty Homemade Burgers. You love to see it. Okay. Let's jump into some news. So the first story of the day, this is usually where I would throw to Peppiatt and ask him a question. Usually a really quick, easy to answer question. Not because I want his input at that specific moment, because it gives me time to do some tweaking in the back end and all like that. But I've done it already. By chatting to you, I've managed to keep you preoccupied. I'm like a magician. It's all like misdirection. You were all looking over that way. You didn't see the fact that, pow, that was happening. But this is the first story of the day. VG247 has this written by Don Peppiatt. And this is a story that has pretty much been in the works for the last few weeks. If anyone hasn't seen it, do you know, I'll save my going around the subject spiel till afterwards, because it might have it in the article. If not, we can talk about it there. So I'll jump straight in now. Brendan PlayerUnknown Greene splits from Krafton, forms a new studio to continue working on new IP. Just gonna have a drink of the coffee. Bear 1 second. So Brendan PlayerUnknown Greene intends to carry on developing to create, quote, the kind of experience I've envisioned for years. So Brendan Greene, perhaps better known by his PlayerUnknown moniker, is leaving Krafton Game Union to form PlayerUnknown Productions, where he will continue working on other projects away from the famous Battle Royale. Greene announced Krafton will hold a minority stake in his new Amsterdam-based studio. Thanks to the success of PUBG, Krafton is valued at an eye-watering $16.5 billion. Quote, I'm so very grateful to everyone at PUBG and Krafton for taking a chance on me and for the opportunities they afforded me over the past 4 years, said Greene. Today, I'm excited to take the next step on my journey to create the kind of experience I've envisaged for years. Again, I'm thankful to everyone at Krafton for supporting my plans, and I'll have more to reveal about our project at a later date. PlayerUnknown Productions is an indie studio, and Greene noted that the team is working on systems that will allow them to develop open-world projects at a massive scale. The fact that Greene is moving on from PUBG and its parent company completely shouldn't come as too much of a shock. We heard that he removed himself from the development of the game back in March 2019. Later that same year, at the Game Awards 2019, Greene and his team teased Prologue, which was described which was described as an exploration into new technologies and gameplay that would give players unique and memorable experiences each and every time they play. It sounds like that same mentality is being applied to whatever Greene is moving on to do next. This doesn't mean work on PUBG will cease, though. We know that there's a new PUBG game in the works for PC, consoles and mobile, and there's been chatter around a big new project at PUBG Corp for a while, which some outright referred to as a sequel for PUBG. I'm just going to hit play on this. There's a lot to unpack in that article for fans of PUBG or fans of Brendan Greene well, the whole encapsulating area, PUBG, Brendan Greene, that whole area of video game development, battle royale, and that. There's a lot of bits in there, plus obviously the bits that we talk about sequels and stuff. But before we look at that, I'm just going to hit play on this. So this did mention a trailer that was shared at the Game Awards 2019. So that's 2 years this December. This was first shown. We did cover this on the Scoop as it happened. This is Prologue, a 30-second, almost, we assume, a tech demonstration. So, oh, great, nice. You got trees swaying in the background. You got rain, a bit. Oh, the camera it moves. Breathing. We've got dogs barking. It's panicked. And it finishes. And that was it. Nothing else. We haven't seen anything on that in 2.5 years. Well, 1.5 years. 2 years this December. So, Brendan Greene being off PUBG is nothing new. Brendan Greene not being part of the PUBG company, Krafton, that is something new. For me, not surprising. Not surprising. So we had PUBG being made by PUBG Corp. That, through whatever reasoning internally, transitioned into being Krafton. Krafton is the parent company of PUBG Corp. They decided to ditch PUBG Corp and change the company name. So, do you know, actually, let me see. Oh, okay. My cup's not empty, but on the bottom of my cup, you can see that logo there. That says PUBG Amsterdam. So, I think, is that the older one? I have two PUBG cups, and the name on the bottom of that cup has changed twice, and that's different from what the name is now. So the branding around all of that has been, what's the word I'm looking for? Maturing. Let's go with that. So they started off calling themselves PUBG. They put all of their eggs into PUBG basket. This being the game, the development team, the company working on it, everything around it became PUBG, this is massive. And then realized after a while that if everything is PUBG, maybe there was internal restructures. You had PUBG Amsterdam, PUBG Santa Monica and stuff like that. Do we keep them called PUBG? Do we call the overall business PUBG, which I think they did, and then changed it to Krafton, and then started to change the name of the product itself. So PUBG was called PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. It's not called PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds now. For anyone that doesn't know, it's called PUBG Battlegrounds, which is a bit daft because PUBG stands for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So you will always see someone making the joke that PUBG Battlegrounds is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Okay, but now it's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds without PlayerUnknown. So is it just going to be BG? Battlegrounds? I don't know. How does it work? Anyway, so they've had issues with their identity and what they were going to be for a while. Is that because they wanted to take Krafton and put Krafton above the game? They didn't want it to all be on the name of one man, Brendan Greene, PlayerUnknown. Is it because they didn't want it to be all on one game, PUBG, and they wanted to make other games? Obviously, we have the Callisto Protocol, which is basically a Dead Space alike, but set in the PUBG universe. It's got a lot of eyes on it because of the success of PUBG. And they kind of want to lean into that, but they want it to be separate enough as well. So it's a kind of a whole bizarre situation, but the fact that PlayerUnknown is leaving doesn't surprise me because he, on his own social media, he white labeled his own social media about 3-4 weeks ago. He basically deleted every post, every header and everything. He was removed. People realized, people started talking about it, and then he came back like the next day kind of thing. That stuff doesn't happen by accident. There was no comment on it. If it was a case of he just decided he wanted a break from social media, he would have said something like that. Yeah, just having a break from social media. I don't need this sort of stuff. Vern, thank you very much for the host and the lurk. We appreciate you. How did you get on in your stream last night, even though you're lurking? I'm asking you questions. How did you get on? I saw you were streaming. I was in the middle of my X-Files watch-along. I say watch-along. What's the word I'm looking for? Binge. There we go. See, Brett, thank you very much for the follow, dude. Good morning. So yeah, the fact that Brendan Greene, PlayerUnknown, has left the company is not surprising. The company has struggled to find its identity over the last few years. Fact, they've changed the name multiple times through internal restructuring, from the fact that they probably started off as a small studio and turned into something massive, requires you to keep changing your roadmap. As you may be planning to get from A to B in an X amount of time. That's too many letters, ABX. But if you grow as rapidly as PUBG has, then A to B, you pass A, B, C, D, E, F, and G in no time. So you have to keep changing your roadmap. So the name conventions of the development studios changing doesn't surprise me. Removing PlayerUnknown from the product itself doesn't surprise me, because that pins everything onto the success of one individual. An individual that isn't even working on the game. But the fact that he has left, it does actually surprise me, because they were working on, let me play this video again for those that missed it. So this is Prologue. They were working on this. Was it a game? Was it just softwares? Was it experiences? It was kind of, they did mention Prologue, which was an exploration into new technologies and gameplay that would give players unique and memorable experiences each and every time they play. What does that mean? Is that a game? Is that just a technology? Is that a story style? We don't really know. And it's been over a year and a half since we've seen that. I was kind of expecting to see something along those lines. The fact that PUBG stopped talking about that entirely, and in one of Krafton's investor videos a couple of months back, they spoke about multiple different games: PUBG New State, Callisto Protocol, some other PUBG games that are in development. They didn't mention that at all, which then kind of started me thinking, okay, where is PlayerUnknown? Is he working on anything? The fact that you combine that with the fact that he disappeared means that this has been in the works for probably at least a few months. Brendan Greene is leaving PUBG, setting up something on his own, still partially backed by Krafton. Is that the way that they get out of it while still keeping him in? Is he still involved with that business? Is he still a shareholder of PUBG and Krafton? Maybe. I mean, they have a share in his business. Is it a shared success, or is he going alone to work on new things for them? I mean, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Like the Ferrari LaFerrari. Exactly. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Exactly. Good morning, Iceman. How's it, dude? I wonder if he's getting fed up with the way the company's taken where the company has taken the game and going like, so you basically the direction, and decided to ditch it completely. Potentially, wasn't expecting that to be shorter than the Belgian Grand Prix race itself. Should be renamed Lounge G or Bar G. Ha ha ha. Boom. I mean, you know what? Just for that, let me give you this. Hey, pretend I'm not here. It's fine. We've got the pub with G. No gameplay on the screen. Sorry, TV's broken, lads. I'll have to take the camera off. Whoop. Hey, chicken dinner served here. Nice. Anyway, let's get back into it. Do you know what? I'm going to do a PUBG stream, a pub with G stream soon. I've not done one for ages because we've got obviously all the nice setup in the background, but I'm going to do a pub with G stream soon. I haven't done for a while. Good fun. Just winding down the PES season with the community, friendlies and co-op. Hope you're all good, dude. Welcome back. Thank you very much, dude. Thank you very much. They dicked Greene when PUBG went to console. Got him out of project managing the game just as it got traction. Never made sense. Prologue was vaporware. It was never going to happen. It's part of abandoned game, Kappa. You never know. You never know. PUA doesn't have the poi. Yeah, I mean, PUBG, you can at least turn phonetically into a thing, but poi, poi. PUA just doesn't have the same sort of hard phonetics. You need like another consonant in there to break up the ua. Puba, puba. Nope. Please no pub with G stream. Oh, okay. Well, that's the birthday stream cancelled then. No G string. Sake, Madge, honestly, spoiling all the fun. But yeah, no, is it that though? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, there's been all sorts of speculation. What Slaps mentioned is, did they just farm him out? So for those that don't know the history of Battle Royale, obviously there was a number of voices in the creation of Battle Royale. Brendan Greene was one of the most prominent, and then if that wasn't the case, it definitely was when he had his own name put onto a game. Obviously, that's not a vanity thing. The reason PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds led with PlayerUnknown's name was because of the successes that he'd had starting off from Armour and Daisy mods and all the rest, building on through that. He got himself some traction, and rightly so. So Krafton, aka at that point in time, Blue Hole, started developing the game with it. I'm not sure if Blue Hole was the development studio that was owned by Krafton. I think that's the way it is. I could be wrong with the details here. Anyway, they used him and his ideas to create a product to get Western traction. They'd never made a game of that style before. Soon as that game started to take off, Brendan Greene did get quite a bit of the console loving. So he was featured in Xbox conferences at E3, doing interviews, being sat alongside the Dead Mouses of the world. Although he called himself Deadmau 5, which sent me completely west on the Xbox stream. Or was it the Xbox stream? It might be in the Gamescom opening. It was the Gamescom opening in that live stream. He called himself Deadmau 5. Anyway, if that's how it's pronounced. But Brendan Greene did get some of that time, and they did reposition him still within the company, still within Amsterdam, working on different projects, which then got aired at the Games Awards. That didn't kind of stink of window seating to me. So one thing that Asian companies do a lot, and not just Asian, it's across the games industry, but it does happen a lot with Asian companies, is they don't get rid of prestigious members of staff. They will give them a window seat. Okay, you've done your stuff. You hold sentimental value for a lot of people. Rather than getting rid of you, we'll give you a window seat. AKA, we'll put you onto a different project. You won't have the same scope of influence on this project. You won't have outward interactions around this project or even any other project potentially. But they didn't. It didn't feel like they'd given him a window seat because they put him on a project that was featured in the Game Awards 2019, which that was when. Yeah, that was the same Game Awards where the Xbox Series X was announced. So it was kind of a star-studded conference in that sort of respect. It didn't, at that point in time, it didn't feel like they were giving a window seat. That said, I hadn't heard anything about him or any of his projects since then. So maybe it was just an elaborate window seat. Maybe it wasn't intended to be a window seat, but they realized that actually Prologue could take quite a lot of time, cost quite a bit of money. We're actually earning a shitload of money on PUBG as it stands by just farming out shit skins. So let's just do that. Maybe that's the direction they took with that. It could have been. It could have been. I'd guess it's Battlegrounds like a Sid Meier's Civilization would just be Civilization without his name in the title. Unless they're Konami with Hideo Kojima touche. They put him outside and he looks through the window from his own seat. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you sit outside. I mean, it's interesting though that he has apparently he removed himself from the development of the game. Says this article here. Let me bring this back on screen. He removed himself. I think. I mean, take that with a pinch. Did he remove himself from the game? I want to work on other projects. Or is that what they came to the agreement for him to say in a press release? I would genuinely think it would be the other. Why would someone who has been building battle royale titles and community content and systems for games from dicking around on his own servers when he lived in South America to building a $16.5 billion company, why would he just go, do you know what, I'm not going to work on that, I'm going to work on other stuff when his job wasn't finished? So I feel that was kind of one of those, I've decided to step back because all of these people have told me to. But yeah, we then didn't see anything from Prologue. We won't see anything potentially from Prologue. It's not been mentioned since, but we potentially could do. If he's still working on experience, I mean, what did they say? Does it even say what? Where? There you go. I'm so grateful to everyone at PUBG and Krafton for taking a chance on me and for the opportunities they afforded me over the past 4 years. Today, I'm excited to take the next step on my journey to create the kind of experience I've envisaged for years. Again, I'm thankful to everyone at Krafton for supporting my plans for Audience Slip, and I'll have more to reveal about our project at a later date. So that is an interesting one. I mean, is there anything to read in there? Is that a corporate spiel? The fact that Krafton have got some stake in his new company makes me think he wouldn't be shitting on them. But the fact that he says he's going to go away to make it the kind of experience that he's envisioned for years, is that PUBG isn't the experience that he's envisioned? Is he talking a different experience? It could be either. But it's interesting that PUBG isn't a westernized game anymore. It's very, very much Eastern. This is a conversation I've had quite a few times in the stream, and I've come to the realization that PUBG is not a game for me. PUBG started out as a game for me, and PUBG is a game that I absolutely adore. But PUBG, I am not PUBG's core market, which is something that I have to come to terms with because I enjoy it and I was used to being its core market. those boots on the ground, military skins that you'd saw on like everyone running around in big trench coats and ballistic masks and all sorts of other skins back in the days when you could actually pick up skins off the floor. There was clothing in the game. Wow, imagine that. To the point where we now get pajama parties and furries in every season pass. PUBG is not aimed at me anymore. It's aimed at an Eastern audience. Is it a case of he's going away to continue his work, but with a Western focus? I mean, his studio is based in Amsterdam, so surely they would be basing content on Western audiences, if not Europe, NA as well, potentially. Maybe. Or is it just something completely different? Is he getting the freedom to move out on his own, whilst Krafton just keep a little bit of backing, keep a little bit of their claws in, give him a little bit of financial backing? It could be any of those. We will definitely keep you updated with the story as it evolves. We don't have any more than that right now, other than the fact that he has left the game. But poof. That sounds like company spin to me. Yeah, it does to me. Does to me. Strong rumours that there's eFootball information out tomorrow. Ooh. Give me a link. I want to see. Seriously, I'd expect that the game remains with the same title, even if he's not involved, just to maintain market visibility and not confuse players. No, I agree, Madge. I think you're right. The fact that they've already phased him out in terms of branding. PUBG exists. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds doesn't. It still exists in loads of small printy bits, but what did they call? Oh, there you go, PlayerUnknown Productions. So he's taken his name to his studio called that PlayerUnknown Productions. That has only happened after Krafton have removed PlayerUnknown from all of their products. So there's PUBG New State and PUBG Battlegrounds, and then there's like the Red Dead-esque sort of cowboy stuff. I think it was even called PUBG Cowboy or something like that. So they've ditched PlayerUnknown and Battlegrounds, and just merged that into the title. Everyone called it PUBG anyway. The fact that that's just PUBG will be kind of a lot of oblivious people that have never even heard of Brandon Greene won't be aware of that. But they have contracted PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds into PUBG, and then everything else becomes categorized of that. PUBG out, bit my lip, is the series. Battlegrounds is one of those games. New State is the mobile game that's just about to be released. Cowboy is another game that they're working on for the future. PUBG is the game, and the other bits follow off. So they're different arcs with it. I mean, they're not called Callisto Protocol, PUBG Callisto Protocol, but it's set in the PUBG universe 300 years in the future. Not in the PlayerUnknown universe. Very different. So yeah, the fact that they've moved him on. The game will remain the same. Everything will remain the same. I bet that's part of their exit strategy. That if it could be that if he wanted to leave, okay, PlayerUnknown is my name. It's my brand that was pre this. You essentially licensed my brand for your video game. You can keep using that, and pay up. Or you can change it to PUBG and pay up a little bit, but I'll go elsewhere. Maybe that was the separation bit. Okay, you can stick with PUBG as long as you fund my new studio, PlayerUnknown Productions, which is a separate company. Maybe that's where the stake that Krafton has in the company comes from. Who knows? We will see in due course, though. Dancing in PUBG was the coffin nail for me, says Plum Rico. I don't mind it too much. If I'm honest, I don't mind it. I find emoting in general, I don't mind it because it gives you a way to communicate. And if you're playing a game and there's other people in the lobby, you're not just stuck with, for those that don't know what that is, or is on the audio services, I just crouched up and down. It looked like just head bobbing. So I don't mind emoting stuff in there, but it's the way it was done. Like, you look at Fortnite and we had the floss and take the L and stuff like that. They were funny, cheesy, but like short, easy to do sort of meme dancers. Whereas the emotes, like the dancing in PUBG is trash. It's you watch Britain's Got Talent, and you will see 10,000 dance troops come on stage, and they're all doing the like full on over the top, wiggle the hand, pop, hand on the head, and then fucking, it's just like It's not even cool dance moves. It's cool when you're all in rhythm, but it's not. There's no like body popping. It's certainly not this. Hey! But like the stuff in Fortnite was daft but funny, but cool but funny, but daft. So it was kind of a mixture of it all. Like the floss just looks stupid, but the fact that you can't do it is quite. Well, a lot of people can't do it. Is quite. It makes it almost. What's the word I'm looking for? Not inspirational, but some people want to achieve the. I want to be able to do that. Some people just start doing it and then they're pretty cool. Some people can't do it and don't like it. And there's all of that sort of shit around it. Taking the L is super easy, and footballers can do it at the pitch side. Footballers aren't going to jump into horrible choreographed dance routines. They're not even horrible. They're just overly complex, and PUBG just doesn't understand that. Which is, I think, that's the Western versus Eastern sort of spin. Western, we just want something cool or daft or silly to do. The Eastern side, it's like, okay, we want full choreographed Blackpink dance music video stuff, and it's like, no. He's a craftsman. Krafton are an investment company that bought into an unregulated interest to make money, hence the loot boxing. Yeah, that's trash. That is trash. And I mean, that gacha sort of loot box aspect is nothing new, and that shows that Krafton know how to make money. They've made tons of money in the mobile gaming side of things. I mean, PUBG Mobile is ridiculous. PUBG makes a ton of money. PUBG Mobile makes a shit ton of money. So they've realised, okay, we can make some of that money by moving this sort of stuff over. Which, I mean, I don't have issues with them wanting to profit and make money. It makes sense. But you look at what's being done elsewhere. You look at Fortnite and Warzone. Call of Duty got rid of its loot boxes in exchange for a store and has made a shitload more revenue. Not everyone has that impact, that same return on investment. Particularly if you've got an audience, an Eastern audience is very much more open to a gacha system, a loot box system, loot crates, whatever you want to call them. Eastern audiences very much like that. I'll use the word gambling, use that gambling element, and they make tons of money for that. So they've just thrown that into the game because it's aimed at those audiences. We just get to play it as well. So, surprise mechanics. There you go, exactly. G just wants more schoolgirl outfits. No, thank you. So, yeah, it's not a game for us. But maybe Brendan Greene / PlayerUnknown could make a game for us. I will continue to play PUBG until another Battle Royale comes and gives me that same feeling. Or until they start to realise that, do you know what? It's not one size fits all. Creating a game that's very ethnocentric on a Korean, not even an Asian, on a Korean player base. I mean, there's a huge number of players in China and across Asia in general. I'm not saying they're not creating a game for them, but I mean, just look at, we've spoken about it previously, Blackpink and Son are the last two crossovers. Huge Korean brands, personalities. So yeah, PUBG farming Brendan Greene out, Brendan Greene leaving, however it worked. Maybe we get to see some cool stuff from him. I hope he hasn't turned his back on Battle Royale. But then again, if Krafton do have a share in his company, they're going to be... don't step too close to PUBG. Because, you know, you got to make your money, we got to make our money. There's plenty of space for us to make money together. So, yeah, we don't know how it's going to work. We will keep you updated as it happens. Ad says, I'll try to find the link again. I think it was VG247. Ooh, nice. I've been out of the world, so do let me know. Anyway, speaking of out of the world, do you know what else is out of the world? Space. That's about as good a tie-in as you're going to get from me on my first day back. Nice. Matt Wales at Eurogamer says, EA shares new Dead Space remake footage, details in unorthodox livestream. Plus, Gunnar Wright is reprising the role of Isaac. So Dead Space fans have... Okay, that's been... Let me just skip to an hour-ish in. I want to see some footage. There we go. It's not moving. Dead Space fans have been treated to a very early look at EA's highly anticipated remake of the sci-fi horror favourite as part of an unorthodox new live stream. And while the project is still, quote, really, really far from being done, according to developer EA Motive, the included new footage and details might be enough to keep interest peaked until more is ready to be revealed. EA Motive's decision to show off its Dead Space remake so early in development is, by its own admission, a bit unorthodox for EA, but says it wants to be, quote, open with communication in order to gather feedback on the direction it's taking. To that end, the developer has shared a few early details and, in some cases, glimpses of the remake, beginning with the look at its initial efforts to enhance the original Dead Space's visuals for the modern era. As shown during the live stream, this involved the art team revisiting the 2008 game's legacy assets, adding details to existing geometry, applying shaders, materials, and VFX, plus a first pass at lighting to get the mood right. The results, as you'll see if you hop through the live stream below, are certainly striking. Ultimately, EA Motive says its aim is to create an experience that remains true to the source while still improving a lot of different elements to make it relevant for today. As such, the fundamentals remain the same. This is still the story of engineer Isaac Clarke, isolated and alone on board the mining ship USG Ishimura, as he battles the terrifying necromorphs in an attempt to find his girlfriend Nicole and solve the overarching mystery. But EA Motive says it also wants to enrich the original story and build on top of what has come before. For instance, it plans to incorporate some of the Dead Space series' bigger universe, tying the original narrative more closely with sequels and books through new audio logs and other forms of world building. We might also learn more about the supporting characters and be given the means to look for Nicole and learn what happened to her during the outbreak. Significantly, unlike in the 2008 original, Isaac won't be a silent protagonist this time around. Gunnar Wright, who played the character in Dead Space's sequels, will reprise the role in the remake, with EA Motive explaining it wants Isaac to speak to give him more agency in the story. However, it says Isaac won't break immersion by chattering away while alone in the dark, and notes it's established two rules. He'll only speak when spoken to, and will sometimes speak in a situation where it would feel strange if he remained silent. As for gameplay, EA Motive has teased some of the changes it's striving for to create a more immersive, intense experience. Actually, let me go back up, because that started on gameplay. We'll go back up to that so I can see that. So, I'll start again. As for gameplay, EA Motive has teased some of the changes it's striving for to create a more immersive, intense experience. For instance, it wants traversing the USG Ishimura to be fully seamless and unbroken with no cuts or loading. Other tweaks include overhauled zero-G traversal, 360-degree freedom, and the ability to interact while flying gives the team more flexibility when creating zero-G environments, meaning it can incorporate new routes and challenges to surprise players that know the game. It's also working on an improved dismemberment and damage system, which everyone loves to hear, introducing a notion it calls peeling. The goal is to enhance non-carving weapons, which weren't quite as visceral or clear in the game. As such, it's developed body destruction technology that enables players to remove flesh and expose bones on enemies, giving better feedback on how effective weapons are, how close the creature is to dying, and so on. It's also brought impalements over from later Dead Space games and has tweaked dismemberment so that limbs can be partially severed, enabling them to be grabbed with kinesis and tossed back for more creative kills. And that's pretty much it as far as details go. In this very early look at Dead Space, the game, which EA Motive once again stresses will have no microtransactions, is said to be around a year into development, so it may be sometime before Isaac and pals are ready for their long-awaited return, this time on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Who is interested in peeling? Does that sound appealing? Would you be interested in ripping the limbs off of your enemies and throwing them back? Well, if you are, Dead Space sounds like it could be the one for you. I actually really like the sound of this. Let me hit play on this as well, again now. Not only do I like the sound of this, I like the way... let me copy that, actually. Copy Dead Space Remake. I like the way that they've shown it very uncharacteristically from EA super early. The fact that we're seeing this now, you don't see early pre-production and development build, as you can see on the stream there. We don't see that sort of stuff. So from something that's as massively anticipated as Dead Space, that's huge. Is it PR? Maybe. Because this is an old game. This isn't something new. This is something people have played through. This is something people have experienced. This is alive because people have willed it into existence. So if you make a game that doesn't scratch the itch of those that have asked for it, then you're setting yourself up to fail. So basically, if people will Dead Space back and you don't listen to them, you don't give them the content that they want, you're doomed. You're doomed. There is no success there. So by showing things early, are they actually bringing people in? Are they actually going to take feedback on board? Are they going to develop with that, or is this just them showing what people want to see so that they can tell people that it's what they want? I mean, it could be a bit of both. You never know, but it's good to see it. It's good to see it. Whichever way it goes, the fact that they have tried to stay true to the original game whilst, let me hit pause on that. The fact that they've tried to stay true to the original game whilst building on it it's what you want to hear as a fan of the game, and as someone that has never played the games like me, that wants to play the game. There's a reason the game is successful. There's a reason the game is being remade. You don't remake shit games unless you could make it a not shit game. But generally, businesses, particularly in today's world, want IP, want sequels, want safe bets, and Dead Space is a safe bet in that sort of sense. All you have to do is achieve what you've done before, and you'll have a successful game. If you can build on that, though, you will have yourself a mammoth of a franchise, and that is what they're looking to do for this. Not to just keep it the same, not to just modernize it, but to build a platform to move forward from. Who would have thought 5 years ago that Resident Evil would be where it is right now? I genuinely didn't. Genuinely. 5 years ago, Resident Evil was a dying franchise to me, as not a Resident Evil fan. Resident Evil fans will probably go, no, but it was going nowhere fast. It had gone from being this massive title that was like the #1 title when it came out. No, it was one of those titles. Like, obviously, you had the Resis and the Silent Hills and the Metal Gears and whatever. There was big games that everyone played on the PS1 and 2 and so on. By the time we got to PS3 and PS4, Resident Evil was just that game that used to be cool, that you played it a million years ago and just had shit spin-off games. Is it there now? No, it's in a completely different space now. They reinvented with Resident Evil 2 Remake. They absolutely changed their landscape going forward. And that is what Dead Space can do now. And EA, with this, are making the right noises from EA Motive. So I'm excited to see more. We don't have any more details other than that. But I say we don't have any more details other than that. We do have, I don't know if this is going to work. That might work. Let me see. Might not work. It does work.
Exactly.
Okay, it says something went wrong when I posted the link in the chat, but if you are on Twitch, I've just posted the link through to the live stream. So if you want something long form to watch, I think the stream's about an hour-ish long. Actually, I can tell you exactly how long it is. The stream is an hour and 12 minutes, including the countdowns. So about an hour of a stream. If you want to see it, if you want to see the peeling stuff in action, you want to see the new textures and corridors and things, you can see it all within that. But for now, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about Xbox and their exclusivity. So we've mentioned this before. Xbox doesn't like exclusive games, or so they say. Then they went and bought Bethesda. They do. But so does PlayStation, and so does everyone else. It makes sense from a business perspective, particularly if you get the biggest games out there. If you can buy Fallout or Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, whatever, you can buy those exclusively for your platform. That is a big coup. That's a feather in your cap. That is something that the other platforms can't have. The Last of Us, which is a story we're going to talk about, is spinning off into TV shows. It's that big, and Xbox doesn't have it, but PC and PlayStation do. However, those are first-party games. So what if you get a third-party game? So obviously, PlayStation, Xbox, third-party. Third-party games, you get big third-party titles. We've just been speaking about Dead Space. That's led to remakes. So there's definitely a lot of value in there. We now have a figure that we can put on that value, thanks to this article from Andy Robertson at VGC. Xbox's Tomb Raider timed exclusivity deal was reportedly worth $100 million. So Microsoft signed Rise of the Tomb Raider as a one-year exclusive in 2015. This was the Tomb Raider reboot. If anyone missed it or can't remember, because obviously we're looking 6 years ago, Lara Croft came back in a trilogy of games that were exceptionally well received. The first Tomb Raider, in particular, out of the remakes, was really, really good. I had to wait over a year to be able to play that because I was a PlayStation user at that point in time, didn't have an Xbox. And that is where we are. So let's jump in. So Microsoft's 2015 exclusivity deal for Rise of the Tomb Raider was reportedly worth $100 million. Let me hit play on this. That's according to the LinkedIn profile of former Square Enix corporate development director Fabian Rossini, the exec who claims to have negotiated the deal with Microsoft. Rossini's profile was widely circulated on social media this week before the claim was seemingly edited out, but not before it was archived by a Twitter user. If accurate, the figure offers a rare glimpse into the actual cost of platform exclusivity deals. However, it's likely... What is this? It's just... This is Tomb Raider Reloaded. That's not what we wanted. So, if accurate, the figure offers a rare glimpse into the actual cost of platform exclusivity deals. However, it's likely that the figure mentioned by Rossini includes other elements beyond the straight deal price, such as marketing commitments or an advance of profits. The 100 million figure would be roughly in line with another high-profile exclusivity deal that recently had its figure shared in the public domain, the Epic Game Store's deal for Borderlands 3. According to confidential documents shared during the Epic versus Apple court trial this summer, the Unreal Engine firm paid $115 million for 6 months exclusivity on its store. Microsoft's Tomb Raider deal, in comparison, was for 1 year of exclusivity. According to the Epic documents, its figure was split into an $80 million guarantee, i.e. an advance of profits regardless of whether the game earned it, with the rest split across marketing commitments, $15 million, and non-recoupable fees paid for the exclusivity, $20 million. In just its first 2 weeks on sale, Borderlands 3 generated $100 million in revenue and brought nearly 1 million users to the Epic Game Store, according to the docs. So it almost paid for itself. According to Xbox, Rise of the Tomb Raider has sold well over 1 million units as of 2 months after its release. The game also launched on PC. As of 2017, it had sold 7 million units, which also includes the PS4 version that arrived in 2016. So there you go. Figures. If you've got a big-ass game, it's worth $100 million. That's the gist of it. That's what we're talking. Xbox's Tomb Raider exclusivity deal was reportedly worth $100 million. That's the value. Obviously, we're not going to dwell on this one too much more, but it's just nice to have these figures because we did keep jumping back. That was probably the most interesting thing from the Epic versus Apple case for me. Is I'm not an Xbox gamer, but I'm not a PlayStation gamer, and I'm not a PC gamer because I play them all. I lean more towards PlayStation because social reasoning, but I have an Xbox One S, not a Series S, downstairs, and I'm not averse to playing on my Xbox or my PC or my PlayStation. I'm platform agnostic. I will play across all of them, so it's good for me when we have things like Epic versus Apple or in LinkedIn leaks that show how much games are worth. You can see exactly what it means. $100 million to get Tomb Raider exclusive for a year. Xbox was not messing about back then, and obviously that's kind of good to let you know, to give you a little bit of an idea of what is going into the Game Pass model. They are clearly stumping money up front to get games to be free on Xbox Game Pass, and they're not averse to spending. So it's nice to see behind the curtain. Anyway, jumping away from Xbox and into PlayStation camp ish. Josh Coulson at The Gamer says filming has wrapped on HBO's The Last of Us pilot. The director of HBO's The Last of Us pilot has revealed his work is done on the debut episode. Filming on the very first episode of HBO's The Last of Us appears to be complete, judging by an Instagram post courtesy of its director. The Last of Us will come to a whole new medium and a whole new audience when its TV adaptation debuts on HBO, hopefully at some point in 2022. There is every chance that the tenuous release date is moved, as the project being undertaken is a massive one. Season 1 might only be 10 episodes long, but each episode reportedly has an 8-figure budget. Woo! So 10 bajillion million, obviously, dollars per episode-ish, upwards. Nice. So the silver lining for those of you eagerly awaiting HBO's take on The Last of Us is filming on the pilot episode of the show appears to have wrapped. That's judging by a new Instagram post from its director, Kantemir Balogov. Balogov had been tasked with directing the adaptation's very first episode, and it appears his part in the massive project is now done. My job here is done. I am really grateful for the opportunity. It was a great experience with ups and downs, Balogov tweeted from the set of the show. The accompanying photo includes a clapperboard emblazoned with a pretty cool The Last of Us logo, all in red with the white Firefly logo. Perhaps that will be the logo that makes it onto posters and is shown at the start of each episode. Let's have another look at that. Ooh, there we go. So there's the Fireflies logo on The Last of Us. While HBO hasn't revealed anything concrete or official about the show's story, images from the set seem to confirm its first season will closely follow the events of the first game. Various images appear to have hinted at the car ride Joel, Tommy, and Sarah take during the game's opening, the Austin, Texas backdrop that accompanies the game's opening moments, and a set that looks a lot like the Boston quarantine zone where Joel and Ellie first meet. As for the Last of Us games, there appears to be a lot to be excited about on that front too. Naughty Dog continues to hint at the standalone multiplayer it's working on is the factions modes originally intended for The Last of Us Part 2. Even more exciting, the outline for Part 3 has already been written. While that doesn't necessarily mean it will ever be made, considering the success of the first two games, it seems likely that it will be one day. Nice. So filming has wrapped on the pilot episode of The Last of Us. I'm genuinely excited about this. Video games to media is a turgid and horrendous, let's say, conversion of media, or it has been historically, and that's not the case anymore. We've spoken about this previously on the show, so I won't stick on it too much. But The Witcher on Netflix, exceptional. The Castlevania series on Netflix, exceptional. Sonic the Hedgehog, that is a fucking wonderful movie. Yes, please. And then we've had things like Ready Player One, and just yesterday I watched Free Guy, which was a little bit more memey in its depiction of gamers, but it was definitely involved. Obviously, the fact that it had content creators and stuff scattered throughout it was decent. But Hollywood realizes that video games is its own medium now, and realizes that they can tell stories without having to be laughed at, mocked, or just given cheap cameos. I remember watching Doom and it going into first-person perspective. It's like, speaking of Doom, didn't have The Rock in it, but they went into a Doom first-person perspective thing, and you kind of think that kind of needs to be in there to pay proper homage to Doom, but it just felt a little bit tacky, in the same way that The Rock, in his first few films, always rock-bottomed someone because that's just what he does. And now he doesn't do that anymore because it doesn't need it. You get it. So I'm looking forward to this. I wonder how much content they can come up with for an entire series, but for now, I'm excited about the show. Well, if you think of it like, if the series is just the game is about 25 hours long. So condensing some of the, obviously, that's time with saves and having to hold and peek around stuff, you could probably whittle that down into 10 hours of solid content. And that would be like 10 hours of the best bits of content. And if it's a 10-episode series, it probably translates into a series very well in terms of that. It's not a 40-hour game where you're looking at 4-hour episodes. So I think it could work pretty well in that. They'll never beat the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Exceptional movie. Not having anyone say any different. It's wonderful. So yeah, I mean, obviously, the bits of narrative where you have to kind of like watch certain bits, the bits where you're creeping around, those are quite slow and those won't transition. Stealth doesn't transition into movies very much because stealth is about not getting involved, whereas movies, it's about watching people, so you're not involved by definition. So you want to watch something happen. You don't want to watch someone not get involved, kind of thing. It does transition, like, in terms of building the fear and the suspense. And did they make it? Yeah, they got out without being seen. Nice. But beyond that, it's kind of like it doesn't last for too long. So I imagine there'll be lots of suspense moments built up to will they get eaten by clickers? I like that. That sounds more like a dolphin at the end. Or the Predator. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of content within there. Some of the problem-solving stuff takes off a chunk of time and so on. But I think they could stretch 10 episodes out of that quite well. And then obviously there's going to be a lot more emotive character building and so on. So I could see the first season being the first game, unless they do stretch that out. You're talking about how much content they can come up with. They could stretch that out completely. They could make, without spoilers, they could make the end of the game be 5 seasons ahead, and they could set up like markers that they hit for the end of seasons. It'd be interesting to see where they go with that. And the fact that they're calling it the pilot episode, is it the pilot or is it just the first episode? Because a pilot episode was basically an audience reaction. It's not a pilot episode. They're committed to 10. It's the first episode. So the fact that they've finished the pilot episode, they finished episode 1. It's not a pilot as such. I know it is, but the pilots by definition were there to see whether it would sink or swim. And this is definitely swimming just by will of budgets. 10 million plus per episode, big budgets. Street Fighter movie. Charlie. Yeah, Guile, who has a French. Is Jean-Claude Van Damme? Is it? I want to say he's Belgian. I could be wrong. So French Belgian accent, but he commands the US Army. And then you've got Kame, who's British Australian Kylie Minogue, Belgian, yeah, Cammy, British Australian Kylie Minogue. Still love that film. It's a terrible film from all intents and purposes, but I mentioned before, me and David used to play a lot of Street Fighter. Used to be a big Street Fighter guy growing up, so that came at the right time for me to watch it and adore it anyway. It's a terrible film. Like Zangief, I remember the quick change the channel. When Zangief's got a big truck flying towards him. Best line in cinema history. Bar all the other lines in cinema history. It's the best one. Anyway, moving ahead. The Last Dolphin, Echoes of Destiny. Is that a thing? If it is, I've not seen it. Anyway, 2 quick stories to wrap things up. So I'm going to fly through these 2 back-to-back before we finish off today's show. Call of Duty Taunts has pissed off cheaters in new video promoting action. This is written by Andy Robinson at VGC and says, "We know what you're doing. We're coming for you." That's a lot of pissed off cheaters, as it says there in the title image. So Call of Duty's official social accounts openly taunted pissed off cheaters in a video published on Tuesday. See how far I can scroll. Is it all in? Not quite. The video highlights the efforts publisher Activision is taking to combat cheating in Call of Duty Warzone, which has been a major issue in the game since launch, to the extent that a new anti-cheat system is being marketed as one of the key features on the next premium Call of Duty game. Last week, it was announced that another 100,000 players had been banned from Warzone in the publisher's latest action, and now its video warns, "We know what you're doing. We're coming for you." Okay, let me hit play on the video. You can watch the video by the embed below. I'm not... Okay. Trying to change the audio, but it just keeps skipping the video. You trash video player. There we go. We just banned 100,000 cheaters. That's a lot of pissed off cheaters. Surprisingly, not this guy.
I've been cheating for a little bit. It's been fun. I've been posting TikToks and all that stuff, but every one of my accounts are banned. Every single one, without even me playing it. So they hardware banned my shit. And I want to say a big congratulations to Activision. Big congratulations. You guys finally got your shit together, and you finally have a banned account. So I appreciate you doing that. I'm actually happy right now. You guys took matters in your own hands and fixed it, so now content creators are coming back to the game. But just letting you know, if y'all are concerned about cheaters, literally every one of my accounts, even if I haven't played the account, is banned.
So there you go. Say it with the chest, just like Call of Duty have. So the video contains what it claims is a real reaction, quotes, from Warzone player Rushman360, who says he had all of his accounts banned for cheating without even playing it. The user then goes on to claim that he's glad the bans happened, as it suggests Activision is taking Warzone cheating more seriously. "This is not a drill. If you cheat, we're coming for you," the official Call of Duty Twitter account wrote. Ban waves are ongoing, and PC anti-cheat is arriving in Warzone later this year. Warzone's PC anti-cheat system will be introduced later this year following the release of Call of Duty Vanguard and a brand new game map. Activision has now issued over 600,000 Warzone permabans since the free-to-play shooter launched in March 2020. We'll leave the rest of it. Does that look real to you? That's my question. Does that look real? If you had spent a fortune on buying a game and probably 5 times as much on buying cheats, and then use that to create a social media following, would you be happy that you got your accounts slapped? I don't know. Maybe it's got to be real. They wouldn't be posting it if it wasn't real, right? It just seems like such a bizarre thing. But I can't get my head into a cheater's mindset. I just don't understand it. It's flawed on many levels. And I just don't get it. So maybe it is real. Maybe it is real. Maybe that's cheating going, okay, fine. You've cheated the cheater. I get it. I understand. I don't know. Just taking your clickle noise that's dolphin-esque emerging the tutor. Ah. There you go. You're welcome. Big step. Wonder if it affects resales of hardware. In terms of how do you mean, Tito? Ad says, get fucking wrecked. Did you know that Raul Julia only did Street Fighter because he knew he didn't have long left to live and wanted to make something that his kids like to see him in as they like the game? Seriously? Ah, GG's. GG's. Big respect for Raul Julia. Was that? I knew it was one of his last films. I didn't realise it was like that. I mean, yeah. GG's, mate. Nice. Sai, I wish it would happen for PUBG, says Baroness. I know, Barrow. That would be exceptional. Some PUBG anti-cheating stuff? Yes, please. I mean, we get PUBG Shield. So basically, we get West against the world. Not that West isn't a man with abilities, but that's a whole lot of cheaters. If Call of Duty is banning over 500,000, PUBG, yikes. I did so wholesome of him. His final film. What a guy. Mr. Gomez Adams. See, he's probably got so much more in his repertoire. And I'll see him and stuff and go, but like, I remember Gomez Adams from Adams Family and Adams Family Values and, M. Bison from Street Fighter because they were big films. Of course! Meme immortality. Yeah, exactly, mate. Now, do you know what? We'll put a pin in that. So, from one battle royale to another, you want free-to-play games? We got you. Except this bit isn't free-to-play, even though the game is. It's pretty good, though. This one does speak to me. I'm talking about films when I was younger, like Street Fighter and things like that. Bad Boys is definitely one of them. And Fortnite now has Will Smith. Fresh moves. Hey, GG's Tom Phillips at Eurogamer. Men in Black, Independence Day, After Earth. Will Smith is no stranger to fighting aliens. Now he can do so in Fortnite. To presumably celebrate the game's genuinely very enjoyable Alien season, you can now purchase Will Smith in Fortnite. The only downside, he's called Mike Lowry, and this is Will Smith's character from decidedly non-alien focused Bad Boys trilogy. I mean, I get where you're going there, Tom Phillips. Will Smith has had a lot of aliens-focused characters. I get it. I understand. I get what you're saying. But to say that playing as Mike Lowry is the downside, what the fuck? I mean, I've not seen After Earth, and I would opt to watch all of the Bad Boys trilogy before watching After Earth. But I get you were building a story. It's fine. So digital rights weirdness aside, Smith's arrival in Fortnite comes after a series of high-profile stars arrived via the game's Icon series as themselves. Ariana Grande, J Balvin, and LeBron James. It's also amusing. It's also an amusing wrinkle to see the Fresh Prince turn up in the game after so much was made of its early days uncredited borrowing of dance moves, such as the Carlton dance. Don't expect him in Fortnite or several other games anytime soon. Mike Lowry is on sale now, priced 1,500 V-Bucks. See, I like that. I do like that, but I'm not their audience. But that's the thing, though. I'm not their audience, but I am their audience. I have Fortnite, and I purchased the Kylo Ren skin. I mean, the chances are I'm not going to purchase any other skins because I've got Kylo Ren. I've got Iron Man as well. Why would I use it something else? God damn it! But it's a big move. I like it, and it's another step into the multiverse for Fortnite in terms of you can do what you want, where you want, with who you want. Do you want to do that with Will Smith? That's fine. You can do that there too. Playing as who? Says ads. Playing as Mike Lowry? Jack! Will Smith in Fortnite. Do kids even know who he is? But that's the thing. I mean, they don't. We had this sort of thing when the Terminator crossover came in the Bounty Hunters season, last season. Sarah Connor, the the key person throughout the entire series of Terminator films and TV series, although I've not seen the TV series. Sarah Connor is the Terminator movies, but she was called Lady Terminator because the kids didn't know who she was. But that's the thing. I don't think it's aimed at the kids. Some kids will buy it because, we know who Will Smith is. He's the guy from the crying memes, isn't he? No, he's so much more than that. He's the wholesome guy on social media. No, he's more than that too. But some will buy it because it's cool and it's something new there and so on. But it's not about the kids. It's about the others. It's about me. Is that enough to get me to jump in? Probably not. But for a lot of similar me's, it probably will be. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? If you've seen the films, that'll make sense. And I've seen the films a ton of times. Back up and get me a pack of tropical fruit bubblicious and some Skittles. Badass films. That's not enough to get me to pay, but there's a lot of people similar to me that will pay that. And it's not just about the stereotypical 12-year-old gamers that we say all play Fortnite and so on. It's everyone else that has played it or could play it or would want to play it with their 12-year-old kids, for example. That might be just enough to get them to jump back in. And that's where Fortnite are kind of nailing it. So for Ariana Grande, okay, that speaks to the kids and so on. LeBron James, yeah, that does too. But LeBron James also speaks to family members, people that are going to playing with them, just like Will Smith and the Terminators and Predator and all the rest have done as well. So for me, it's a good move. It's a good move. Also, hello everyone. Hey, how you doing? I prefer to play with I'd prefer to play with Ariana Grande than Will Smith. Giggity. Sake, Tito. Is that Chris Rock? Do you not think it? I think it looks like him. Like just like the fact that the head's not straight. That's very much. I mean, obviously the background and his clothing and stuff, but the fact that he's got that like 3-degree lean that Will Smith has whenever he's Mike Larry. It's probably more than 3 degrees, but I think it looks good. So they're doing an alien related bit, and they get Will Smith in a non-alien related role. Yes, but that as it kind of mentioned within the article, the way digital rights weirdness aside, it's probably a case of if we get Will Smith, what age do we get Will Smith at? Do we want Will Smith or do we want Will Smith characters? And it's probably a case of Bad Boys is open to using its IP. They've just had like Bad Boys 3 come out a couple of years ago. Yeah, it was an okay film. They've had LA's Finest, which is like it's characters that have appeared in the Bad Boys films that have set out into, rather than being, I think Bad Boys is set in Miami. This is basically if you take the Bad Boys and turn them into Bad Girls and put them in LA rather than Miami, then that's what it is. So if you haven't seen LA's Finest on Netflix, I think it is, maybe Prime, that is basically it's Bad Boys but Bad Girls. So they aren't, whoever owns the rights to that, they aren't averse to trying new things with that brand, that IP, those characters, that world. And it might be a case of Men in Black is a little bit more protected. Maybe Independence Day 2. Independence Day has tried to do some other stuff going forward. Does After Earth have the same significance? Absolutely not. So, does it make sense? It doesn't make sense if you look at Will Smith's history, but it probably makes absolute sense if you look at what is available for licensing and what the costs are. I imagine a lot of people would just see Will Smith and go, that's Will Smith. I'm happy enough to play as Will Smith. A lot of people won't see it as a Michael Lowry skin. A lot of people will see it as a Will Smith skin. And if it's Will Smith and you're fighting aliens, you can make it be whatever you want it to be in the Fortnite world. If you're Will Smith but dressed as Michael Lowry, running in alongside Kylo Ren, Groot, and Deadpool, does it really matter? And that's kind of the beauty of Fortnite. There is you can kind of make it what you want it to be. And what would the difference be if it was Independence Day Will Smith? He'd just have camo pants on. Not much difference. So yeah, it's I've got no issue with it. It's good for me. I wonder how much they paid to use the image. And that's the question. It could be huge, or it could just be a case of Fortnite is the one with the bargaining chip, and this gives Bad Boys some market precedence. Maybe it could even be Bad Boys 4 is in the pipeline, and this ensures that Fortnite gets some on-screen time. This could be, okay, you put him in the game now, and then when it comes to it, make sure the game is featured on screen. I wouldn't be surprised if you have like Thor Ragnarok, was it? No, it was actually Avengers, wasn't it? Where Thor was massive, Endgame, and you could see him. What was it? Something I can't remember the name of the kid that he's fighting against online. But anyway, that kid that he's playing against online, they're playing Fortnite. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see some on-screen time stuff like that. So it could be pretty cheap, but like quid pro quo, you put us in the game, we'll put you in the film, kind of thing. 2022, they'll add John Cena. I mean, he's already there. You just can't see him. Yeah. Where did we get to? I've seen After Earth. You would be better off watching Titan AE After Earth. And you know the type of crap I say was good when it comes to sci-fi stuff. I mean, Titan AE I've never seen, but I did have some Titan AE pajamas when I was 15-ish. Probably too old for Titan AE pajamas, but I was having my tonsils out and I forgot to take pajamas to the hospital, so they were the only ones that were on sale in the hospital shop. So I had Titan AE pajamas. So there you go. They might know him from that, and Genie from IRL Aladdin. Yeah, true. That and the YouTube rewind, just in case anyone didn't see that. The last one was awful, like truly awful. See, I agree. I would watch it again. Whereas I would say truly awful is Batman vs Superman. I will never watch that film ever again. Ever again. I would watch that again. I wouldn't enjoy it. Like if Bad Boys 2 was on TV now, I'd sit through that. Fine. Okay, let's just sit back and watch the rest of it. Bad Boys 3, I'd probably turn it over, but I would probably sit through it as well if I was in the right mood for it. So Fortnite again for kids to safer play as the skin of a character in an 18-rated film, definitely aimed at the parents of the player. Exactly. But that's the thing though. It's the wider appeal, and that's why Fortnite it breaks down barriers and boundaries. It's not a case of 18, can't have that. There you go. Okay, well, there's having a person's likeness, having a character's likeness in a game is fine. You can have some series of games. Metal Gear Solid has had games of multiple different age ratings, so they're like, it's just a likeness, just a character. But yeah, it's the smartness of then, okay, well, it's what comes in with that. Isn't Will Smith grey now? Still looks 30. Yeah, it's ridiculous. How dare he? Rambo and John McClane in Warzone, Young Winston in PUBG, Grande and Smith in Fortnite, whatever next. Ken Barlow in Resident Evil. Yes. He'd be in Killing Floor 2. Ed Sheeran's in FIFA 22. Wouldn't surprise me. That could be true for all I know. I'm seeing Noob Master. Caps. Boob Master. What? I don't know what's happening. Ilga says, Noob Master. There we go. I'm back up to speed. Noob Master 69. That's the character in Thor. Noob Master 69. Did he say something about his mum? I can't remember. I watched Endgame again a couple of months ago. Me and Danielle went through the entire cinematic universe again. So yeah. Boob Master, actually. Autocorrect. Ilga says Scream. As in what? The film? It's a good film. I enjoyed the film. Yeah. If you want Scream, then
Do you like scary movies? Mate. Surprise, Sydney.
That's absolutely what you meant, right? Right. No. Okay. New Master 69 to be exact. Yeah. Good morning, Spike. Good afternoon, Spike. Holy ads. Oh, was the echo one? Was my... Are we good? I think we're good. Are we good? Doubled audio. I did look down and think, something's not right there. But I thought, no, it's fine. Turns out it wasn't. I fucked it up. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, tell you what I did fuck up, the ending of the show. I didn't fuck it up because I'm just about to do it now. Let me give you a little bit of a recap, though. If you have just tuned in and you're thinking, what were they talking about? I want to skip back through and see it all. Well, these are the stories of the day. Brendan, PlayerUnknown Greene, splits from Krafton. He is no longer part of PUBG. So PUBG officially is renamed to Big. Not PUBG, just Big. No, it's not really. It's not. It's PUBG. But Brendan Greene, PlayerUnknown, is no longer part of that team. EA shares new Dead Space remake footage. Xbox's Tomb Raider timed exclusivity back in 2015 cost $100 million. We have that information thanks to an Instagram leak. Nice. Filming has wrapped on The Last of Us, the pilot episode of HBO's TV series. Call of Duty taunts cheaters by pissing them off. And Fortnite now has Will Smith inside the game, Michael Lowry. So yeah, that's the news. That's the news. If you've enjoyed the show and you are new here, do feel free to hit the follow button. It doesn't cost you a penny to do so.
Do it now. 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 Please, mate. By the way, this voice is the voice that I think Mr. Vernimator uses when he uses voice mode. If you haven't seen him, check out
Twitch.tv/The Verdiminator.
Nice, mate.
Anyway, we are going to wrap things up. Thank you, everyone that has been here. If you haven't followed the stream already, do feel free to hit the follow button now. It doesn't cost you a single penny, but it does make us look pretty good. So, yeah, feel free to do it. Nice. We will be back. Probably not today. I have a busy old day lined up, catching up from the week off. So I'm probably not going to be playing some PUBG today, but I may be back with PUBG tomorrow after tomorrow's episode of The Scoop. If you don't know, we do The Scoop each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.
Ish. I kind of fucked up the button presses there. There was like 12.
But yeah, we do The Scoop at 10 a.m.-ish each and every single weekday on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. And if you want to help shape our show, you can do so by sharing the news with us. All of these stories I have grabbed from social media, but you can drop them in our Discord. If there's some news that you've seen, like West just the other day shared the fact that China has banned the number of hours players can put into video games. 3 games a week. 3 hours a week, should I say, is all you're allowed to play games in China. And that's 1 hour at a time between the hours of 8 and 9 on certain days. What the fuck? So yeah, that was shared by West. If you have any news similar or completely different, but as long as it's focused around video games, feel free to share it with us by dropping it in our Discord, !Discord. The link is in the chat already. Thank you very much to Tito. You can drop the news in there, or you can share it with us on social media at Ice Cream Uploads across any social media platform. Feel free to share the news with us. We will take that news, give you our thoughts and impressions the very next day. At what time, Graham? Well, it will be at 10 a.m, mate. You've said already. Oh, fuck yeah, I did. Nice. Hey, John Kramer. Hey, how you doing? When it comes COD and anti-cheat, all I can think of is that line about Titanic and Ghostbusters. Better late than never. Yeah, but is it? It's kind of, if we're talking Titanic, it's like late, but then also not Titanic. Ghostbusters, should I say? Titanic. Yeah, so the Titanic is Ghostbusters. It'd be like being on the Titanic, seeing the iceberg, and then taunting it. That's what they've just done. So it's nice that they're deploying iceberg measures. I mean, obviously ghostly icebergs, but yeah. You get what I'm saying. Wow, I hope that doesn't apply to Chinese esports. That's not news from China. My wife has said that for years. 1 hour a night between 8 and 9. Yeah, it's bizarre. I missed that episode yesterday. I was actually watching Free Guy, which is an exceptionally good film. If you haven't seen Free Guy, I recommend it. If you like Ready Player One and you like Deadpool, the way I explain it to Bib is it's Ready Player One and Deadpool mixed. Obviously, Ryan Reynolds being in that gives it the Deadpool sort of mix, but it's the same sort of comedy. Is it? Well, I can't remember. Is it? I can't remember. TKYTD, the New Zealander guy. I can't remember his name. Who is involved with directing and so on from the Avengers films. Same sort of humor. It's a really good film. But yeah, I didn't get to see the show yesterday because I was watching that, and yeah, it just sounds absolute madness. 3 hours split into 1 hour segments between 8 and 9 p.m. on certain days is crazy. It's crazy. Nice. I'm a do you know what? I'm not even gonna. I'm just gonna. Actually, does that need a timeout? Do you know? I'm gonna leave it. I'll leave it. If one of the mods want to drop a timeout or whatever, if it's worth it, feel free. If not, don't bother. Have yourselves a fantastic day, though. I will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. ish for the next episode of the Scoop. Have a lovely day. Stick around for the raid. I'm gonna find one of our PUBG friends. Maybe Hamish is on, and we'll drop a raid. Stick around for the raid. You get extra channel points. Until then, though, have a lovely day and stay frosty.